All right, 1 second. Check the audio. Okay. All right, we're in business. Day 303, 2181 Kingsport Avenue, Pensacola, Florida. This is a subject to deal, which means that we're buying a property subject to the existing financing. So in this case, we're taking over the payments on the property and we're not assuming the loan. So this is property just got emailed to me. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. What we're going to be going through is getting a general condition of the property, getting all the numbers in place. And most importantly, our goal for today is just to figure out whether or not this property is worth our time to investigate further. Meaning, do we want to send someone out to the property to get photos? Do we want to send a contractor out there to give us a bid for something, right? This is how we avoid burnout, by figuring out very quickly whether or not something is worth our time, okay? So this property, let's go ahead and start plugging some numbers in. Purchase price, where's the purchase price? 379,244, 379,244. Okay. Balance to close 30,999, 30,999. So that's gonna be our entry fee for the entire property. Monthly holding cost 2,273. So this number is gonna be really important. Just pay attention to that. And do I have a balance? Okay, let's click on this sheet here. What is the loan amount? Total benefit amount. There we go. Unpaid balance 348,023. So that is the amount of the underlying loan that you'll be taking over in this scenario. 348,023. 348,023. Okay. This is a 2.99% interest rate. So write that one down. There's another solar loan for 91,595. 91,595. I want to put this into the secondary area. And for those of you that want to see the full screen version, just remember you can always go to youtube.com/@Kent_HE. Okay. All right. So total payment including solar is 2,683. So that's the most important number, right? 2,683. All right. Let's get a general condition of the property. All right, looks relatively turnkey. I mean, there's some carpet you can always replace if you like. All right, so I'll put aside a little bit of money to paint the place. So I'll probably put about 20% of the area that needs to get painted, 2,496. So if you go to the rehab calculator tab, 2,496, I'm gonna go to row 86. Equals 2,496 divided by 5. So 20% of the square foot needs to be painted at $3 a square foot. I got $500 for some landscaping to just keep it tidy. $1,500 for the roof in row 6, just in case there's any issues with the roof that I cannot see in the photos. I got 2 bathroom toilets. I'm gonna replace the high pressure flush toilets to reduce my thing. Again, this is just my way of underwriting deals. This is my personal preference for rehab. So that gives me a total rehab of about $5,200. Okay. So now that I got my rehab number, I got my asking price, I got some of my payments in there. I need to also calculate what my net property taxes and insurance numbers are currently. So if the total payment, including solar, is 2,683, I'm going to go to cell B28. I'm going to equals 2,683. And I'm going to subtract the principal portion of the subject to loan minus the interest portion of the subject to loan minus the other payments belonging to the solar loan. I don't really care what they are right now. By principal and interest breakout for each payment, for each monthly payment, because all I'm trying to do is figure out whether or not it's going to cash flow, right? The principal portion and interest portion of the monthly payment is going to change every single month. So you don't want to spend too much time trying to figure out exactly what makes up each amount. You don't want to do that, okay? All right. So now that we got that in place, what we want to do next is figure out what is my total rent amount, right? So now I got my property tax and insurance because I backed into it. I got $50 more for insurance every single month, and I'm adding to it, even though there's insurance expenses already in B28. I'm adding an extra $50 here because I know in Florida, the insurance market has been going up and up every single year. So I know there's going to be more risk when you turn a primary residence property into a investment property. And now on top of that, I also want to add an extra $50 per month because I just see insurance going up every single year. So I'm not going to be taken aback just because of the insurance market. And this is one of the reasons why I don't really buy in Florida, to be honest with you. All right, so now that I got those numbers in there, I got 10% of my rents every single month set aside for maintenance, meaning, or CapEx, meaning I know eventually I'm going to replace some of the bigger items like the roof, right? I'm replacing a roof right now at my other property in Birmingham. You know it's going to have to get changed. For me, I'm just taking care of that earlier. You know the water heater is going to get replaced eventually. You know the HVAC, air conditioners are going to get replaced eventually after 10 or 15 years. It's going to happen. So set aside that money every single month because that money truly does not belong to you. All right? You don't want to be that person in 10, 15 years from now with a $20,000 rehab and all of a sudden you realize that you didn't make any money at all. Okay, so don't be that person. I got 10% for property management and I got 5% for vacancy. So now I just need to get my monthly income rents to figure out when this property is going to cash flow. So the first thing I'm going to do is for Section 8, I'm going to Google HUD FMR. FMR stands for fair market rents. After I come here, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and click on access to small area FMRs. Click on this link right here, look up FY 2024 FMRs. I'm clicking Florida, and let me just figure out what county this is in just by doing a quick control find on county. This is Escambia. Don't know how to pronounce that. Escambia County. There you go. And now I got by bedroom count, by zip code 32507. 32507. What your rent ceiling is for a 3-bed and a 4-bed. Your 3-bedroom is 1670. Your 4-bed is 2070. 1670. And your 4-bed is 2070. Now it's for 32507. 32507. 32507. I'm writing down all these numbers just because my partners already know how I analyze deals. So this makes it a little bit easier for them. Now that I got my rent ceiling, I'm going to get the market rents. And now I'm going to go to market rent. So affordablehousing.com, go to the market rent estimate. It's going to bring me to this page. And then I want to plug in the address right here. I'm plugging the bedroom count. And the most important number here is the one number on the bottom right. And you see right here that on the bottom right, the average rent for 25 units within a 2.09 mile radius is 2019. 2099. Now it's within a 2.09 mile radius. 2 mile radius, 2146 for the county, 2169 for the city. So right within your kind of market terms here. Now, I'm going to use the lower of the two, right? Because usually the rent ceiling also includes utilities. So you don't provide utilities, you have to back it off. But in this case, there's also a test called the rent reasonableness test, right? The rent reasonableness test essentially states that you cannot charge more rent to a voucher holder simply because they're a voucher holder, right? Legally, this is the HCV, or the Housing Choice Voucher Program Guidebook. HCV is what was formerly known as Section 8. They just rebranded it to Housing Choice Voucher because of all the negative connotation associated with Section 8. So in Section 2.2 of the Program Guidebook, right, it says that in conducting rent reasonableness, the PHA must determine whether the rent to the owner is a reasonable rent in comparison to rent for other comparable unassisted units. So obviously size, unit type still matters, right? If you're single family home, you got to compare it on the single family homes. Typically, you don't see 4-bedroom apartments. So I'm very confident that this number that I saw from affordablehousing.com is relatively accurate. So I'm going to use 2019 as my rental number to estimate. And if you use 2019, right, again, the lower of the two numbers when you compare it against 2070, you would be negative cash flow, negative 1219. Negative 1,200 as a negative 32% cash on cash return, assuming your purchase was negative $379,000. Now, obviously, that's not a deal for me personally, But it doesn't mean that it can't be a deal for somebody else, especially if they're living there as a prime residence, right? It's completely different circumstances. And again, this is not investment advice. I'm not soliciting any investments on this call. I'm simply showing you all the work that I do every single day to build in the reps and most importantly, understand how to analyze a deal quickly, especially if it's creative finance. Because a lot of folks will just jump at creative finance deals simply because they're a creative deal. That does not necessarily mean it's a good deal, especially if you have to reach into your pocket every single month to support the property, right? This is an investment property, not a primary home. It's very, very different. So just be very, very careful about how you approach these deals as an investor. Again, not investment advice. So if you guys want a copy of the spreadsheet, right? My hope is that you just copy what I did today. Look at the same deal I analyzed today, right? This website is right here. You literally cannot make it up. I get emailed creative finance deals all the time. You look at the same creative financing sheet, their details. You can look it up on Redfin. It's literally on the market. You can look up your HUD FMR, which allows you to pull up the rent ceilings, look at your market rent. And then what I hope is that you go to my website, affordablehousing.io, not .com.io, click on the Get Deal Analysis tool, put in your name, email, phone number, promise won't spam you, and you get a copy of the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet I got from a few other folks. I tweaked it and modified it so that it fits what I need personally for my underwriting so that I can underwrite deals really quick, really fast. Same thing for the rehab spreadsheet. I kind of just modified it, updated it so that I got my own record for certain rehabs. So feel free to use a copy of the spreadsheet so that you can get your own practice in, get the reps in, analyze the deals every single day. Because that's how you build confidence in yourself, that you know what you're doing. And most importantly, if a partner ever asks you why do you think this is a deal, hopefully by that time you will have 303 videos, right? Because I got 303 videos on my YouTube channel right now. You can just copy my homework. That's it. Copy my homework. And you can tell that person if when they ask you whether or not this is a deal or not, you say, hey, I know this is a deal because I've been looking at deals for the past 303 days. And you've been consistent. So that's my sincere goal with all of you today, for you guys to all get the practice in, copy my homework. And just latest podcast alert, I had the mayor of Cambridge, Massachusetts, home to Harvard University and MIT, come on and talk about his own change. So this is a new podcast I had just released today. Please check it out. Please support her. They're doing amazing things. Everybody says they want affordable housing, right? Everybody says they need it. They're a city that actually has put in policies, procedures to promote the creation of more affordable housing. So I thought it was a great, great conversation. Please take a look at that podcast. And I'll be back here again tomorrow for day 304. I hope you all have an amazing Monday. Hope you all spend some quality time with your family and friends today. And stay consistent with me, everybody. Have a good one. Talk to you tomorrow.